one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The Wilmer City Council work session, you want to do roll call, or are you good enough? I think we're only missing Andrew, I think.
Yep,
And Justin. Yes,
and Justin.
Oh, and Justin, okay.
Yes, thank you.
Are we recording this?
Yes.
Okay,
Yep.
go ahead, I guess. Go ahead, take it away.
Okay. No, I've got big.
Oh, there you go.
So I'd like to introduce Catherine Mayhew. She is a project manager for Bergen KDV, and she helped us through this process of developing the RFP for the software system, and then walking through the whole building of it, and what do we want, and asking us all these great questions and getting us all in the right line. So she'll walk us through the process that we went through, and then at the end, we can have questions, and she'll show you the one that we would like to go with. So, Catherine?
Thank you, Leslie. And thank you to the city of Wilmer for inviting me to come. This is one of my favorite project type to work on, is coming in and finding out what you really need. What are your pain points? What's keeping you from getting to where you want to be when you grow up, right? And you want to do things better. What's keeping you from getting the information to the people that are making the decisions? What's keeping you from getting the information from the citizens or to the citizens and speaking back and forth again? And so the connecting of individuals, right? Because we're all individuals when we work with us within accounting. Yes, or not accounting, within technology and systems, and getting that all connected to the right place is always a fun part for me. I was telling my leader today when I was having my weekly call-in, I said this is one of my favorite things to do is come up at the end of the project when the clients made a decision and I get to present it to the council. So nothing makes me feel like I've got you guys all grown up now and ready to launch. So the agenda for tonight, just this little piece of it, is we're just going to talk about the process. I'm going to remind you, I know it was a long time, it was cold when I was here last time. You didn't have snow, but it was cold when I was here. We walked through the process, and then we'll have some questions and answers at the end. I need to speak up, I've been told, because I'm not wearing a mic. So I will, if I'm yelling, it's not for you guys, it's for the recorded message. First, I want to thank the team members from the city of Wilmer. And if you guys are here, I think you need to stand up so that everybody can give you a round of applause. So Leslie Valiant, Steve, come on, stand up. Justice, Janelle here, Lynn, Deb, Carol, Jason, Gary's here, so stand up. The mayor, please stand up. Yes, because you guys did
I think
stuff.
I'll do with it.
And the members of the city council. Yes, all of you guys together. All right, it took a team. Leslie said, I herded them this way and herded them that way, and then they went this way, and then we went that way, right? We went down a lot of different corridors. I made them work hard, but I think in the end, you're going to see that the product paid off. So let's talk a little bit about what we did. So we got started in March. It was like 2nd of March, right, Leslie,
Yes,
when we got
it was.
started? We set a real ambitious schedule that we were going to present this to you at the beginning of August, and we're not too far off. Today is only the 22nd. So we only missed it by 20 days. But we kept everybody else on schedule, right? We put a leadership RFP team together. So those were the leader teams of the departments, and we got together and we said, what do you need? What do you want? Let's dream, right? So then we've also created a group team, yes, a project group team, which was a level down from everybody. At the leadership level, who uses the system on a constant basis. So we had a bigger group down below. We included the city council when I was here in April, I believe, yes. And we also did a group assessment with you guys. What do you need? What do you want? We put that together. May 2nd, we released that RFP. It was nice and tidy. It was clean. We put it on the website, but it was big. It included everything. Everything everybody wanted, including the council, to public works, to finance, to development, to the fire department, to the police department. We got it all in there. We had vendors come in and we did demos with them, or you guys did demos with them between June 27th and July 1st. The 4 vendors came virtually and presented a whirlwind was it 5 days, 6 days of virtual video demos to the team. So we had BSNA, Tyler Technology, Brightly, and Harris. It was a whirlwind week, is what I want to say, and then we all went on vacation for 4th of July. I went to New York and I got COVID. Yeah, so that's what I did after I was done. So we worked in those small teams, right? We completed that RFP to get to the ERP. We sent that list to vendors that was recommended by the GFOA. So this is the nitty gritty now. The GFOA is the Government Financial Office of Accounting. And that is a recommended resource for government entities to use. And the GFOA has a recommended vendor list of accounting software and financial software and utility software and government software that they recommend. So we use that vendor list plus any other vendors that we heard of from friends of ours that work in other cities, and we sent out our RFPs to all of those vendors. We received the replies back, we sat down, we evaluated them, we kept the costs separate, we evaluated them, we then invited them for the demo, like I said, they came. Then we did our due diligence after the vendor demos. We sat down again and we asked questions. The top group, the leadership group got together and we came up with a list of about 10 questions. And so then I went and researched or reached out to every client recommendation and reference that was on the vendor's list. So we asked all of them. No matter which vendor we decided on today, we asked the vendors all their client references and did that. Then we sat down and we went line by line. Leslie and I spent maybe 2 or 3 meetings with the vendor that we are going to propose today and went line by line to make sure we fully understood and they fully understood what each line item was. Some items went away, some line items came back, some line items went away. We went back and forth. Then we negotiated for a deeper discount. So the discount that we're getting is 15% off for 3 years. It's a locked-in price. And then we went back to the team and we said, are you sure? Are you positive? I even sent her another email last week. Are you positive? We have 100% support for the team for the selection. Remember what our goals was. I'm not going to tell you who it is yet, yeah. Remember what our goals were, right? We wanted a full-featured ERP system, right, that was integrated throughout the entire system, right, the whole entire city. We wanted to reduce redundancies. We didn't want somebody putting something in an Excel over here and then somebody typing it in over here. We wanted to provide leadership, you guys, with improved access to the data and robust reporting. We wanted a data-driven decision-making process, and that's what we're here for today. We're going to leave the old system behind, and we're going to move forward, making decisions based on data intelligence and data modeling. We wanted to change our processes so that we were more strategic analysis versus just data entry. Yeah, putting in journal entries, recording the transactions, that's great. But if we can get the system to help us take care of that faster, and we can spend more time on the analysis side of it, what does this mean for us? What should we be looking at? That's going to make us better. We want to improve our policies, yes, to address any current needs and any future needs. We wanted a system that was going to grow with us, not just meet our needs today. We want to improve workflow process. I know a lot of that sounds like, oh, that's over in the accounting department, but really workflow process will spread across the organization now, right? No longer will somebody only own all of the invoices, but everybody will have access to the invoices. Access to what, not everybody, but everybody who needs to have access to those invoices will have access to the invoices. We want to improve the service delivery and access to the information for the employees, for you guys as the council, for our citizens, and for the businesses. For people who do work with the city, we want to improve that communication and that delivery. Those were our goals. I'm going to let Leslie step up and talk about this slide. It's going to show you two of the two vendors that we went down to, plus where we currently are.
So the 2 vendors we went down to were BSNA and Tyler Technologies, and that's because these 2 vendors provided us with the most services. The other 2, Harris and Brightly, were more specific to, say, work orders, permitting. Some didn't do asset management, and those two didn't do anything with financials. And financials were the ones that, the biggest focus that really drove us to here. And, but what, like Catherine said, we really asked for everything. And part of that everything was also that we don't have, as you can see, with our current system, New Vision and Logis. New Vision is our financial side, and Logis is our permitting side. And of those, we don't have work orders, we don't have special assessments, we don't have purchase orders, we don't have public safety trafficking, project grant accounting. The permitted inspection we do, but it's not like this Tyler will be. Tyler will be more interactive, it will be hands-on. Our building inspectors will go out to do their inspections. They'll have their tablets with them. They'll be able to answer their questions as they go through this checklist. They won't have to write anything down. They won't have to bring it back to Lynn, put it in any file, save it here, whatever. It'll automatically go to where we need it to go. Inventory right now, out at the Public Works, we do inventory of our trucks and the equipment that each one uses. We also do for mechanical, the parts and things like that that's used. Our staff out there creates a list of if a truck comes in from, who do we bill? Like, we bill out costs to like the police department and fire department and things like that. So now this will integrate with this whole process, and we won't have to generate separate information. Also, contract management, we don't, right now, our contract management is pretty much, Janelle was the one that maintained the contract management. It was, I'll save that in that file, but it didn't list the things we needed for contract management. Was their insurance turned in? When was it turned in? That kind of stuff. The asset management, there is a portion in New Vision that does have our asset listings.
For fixed assets only.
Yeah, fixed assets only, but the asset management is also more than that. So it's managing our trucks, it's managing, what else? Infrastructure, so.
Buildings,
Maintenance, those kind of things. Our streets also then can go under there when they're redone and that. And as you can see, currently, our 2022-23 New Vision is going to be $34,438 for the annual price of keeping that up. Logis right now is $26,556,000, so that gives us a total of $60,986. And I know that our Tyler is $150,867, but when it comes down to the amount of services that we'll be able to integrate, and it comes down to $7,940 per module. Currently, our modules are $6,776 so we get 19 modules compared to the 9, and the cost to upgrade our system is $1,164. And I think that we're going to get a whole lot more out of this. We're looking to the future for this project. We're not looking as of what is today. We're looking for a software system that's going to let us build into the future. This is going to take 2 years to get this off the ground, but it's going to be well worth it for those people that are coming 4 and 5 years down the road from us. They'll have a system that they can come into and be able to understand where everything is at also. The most important piece, well, one of the most important pieces, and the reason that I like this project more so is the interaction that our consumers can have with us.
Yeah. So we decided, as the team decided, I didn't, the team decided that Tyler Munis is what the vendor is that we want to go with. Many reasons. It is the largest software company focused on public sector. Okay. It is 27,000 installations in 11,000 locations. It is just, Tyler Munis is the biggest system. looking for, it covers all of this. It provides complete compadre of modules, as you saw on that checklist, that you didn't have before, but that you need and that you want, right? So it covers all of those modules, starting with the most important, I always think is accounting and finance, but I'm sure development will tell me otherwise. Yes, and going all the way around, public works is next, code enforcement, yes, licensing and regulations. We know it will talk to our HR and time and labor management and KPay system that we're putting in. We'll have procurement, we'll have treasury, we'll have reporting, bill collection, assessment. So you'll hit all of these. We'll have the civic services on this side of the house, finance on that side of the house, property over there. It covers all of them. Whereas when we were just working with New Avenue before, that was just your general ledger, your finance side. Then we had to plug and play everything else to go with it. So this is coming with a full compadre of modules, all that talk to each other. It's not plug and play. More stuff that they're going to give us. So inside of all of where we started, this is what we're going to get from Tyler. So in financial management, this is all included, right? In citizen services, and we'll show little videos later about how some of these work, you get the Tyler 311, which is the app that tells somebody there's a light, street light app. Citizens can log in and they get into there. They can take care of self-service, they can take care of self-pay. The data insight on this is going to be phenomenal. The ability to perform analytics and reporting on it is going to be something that you haven't had before. Enterprise asset maintenance is what Leslie was talking about. You're going to be able to take care of work orders. Remember when you said you wanted work orders and you wanted to know where the work orders were and if people actually put a work order in, if it was going to a Post-it note, was it getting answered? Well, here they'll put it in as a work order, as a request in an application. It will go to somebody. It won't be on a Post-it note. We'll be able to take care of fleet management. So we'll be able to take care of the fire engines and all of that, add them into the system. When is it time for the cruiser to get its oil changed? When is it time for us to think about retiring the next fire engine? Yeah, we'll be able to build into that the longevity, the life cycle of our physical assets. When we talk about asset management in decades before, it was only fixed assets, and we were only worried about how to amortize or depreciate them, and we weren't actually talking at the city level about how to take care of them and how to think about when is it time for our capital expenditure budget to go into place to replace them. Facilities management, and then it does talk to GIS. Revenue management, we'll be able to work in accounts receivable, central property billing. You don't do utility billing, but we're going to do special assessments in there. They just did a demo again today. They can use this to take care of special assessments. Obviously, the county takes care of special assessments, but on our side, we've been keeping track of them in a card filing system. Very great if you're an old librarian. But for us, we want to know immediately what our citizens want to know when they make a payment on special assessments. Did I make a payment against my account? What's the new balance, right? They don't want to have wait for somebody to come and calculate and figure that out themselves. We aren't getting rid of anybody, okay? So that's the next step. It sounds like we may be getting rid of people. We're not getting rid of anybody. Everybody is just going to be using a system and provide more services, better services, sharper services to the clients, to the customers, to the citizens. And then civic services over here is where we're going to get into the permitting, land management, license and regulatory management, code enforcement, GIS. Okay? I talk really fast because I'm from Chicago. If I go too fast, you're going to have to slow me down. All right, so that's what we're getting from this system. Munis has over 260 customers in the Midwest. Some of these cities you may know. Can you read them? You want me to read them to you? Bloomington, Chaska, Edina, Mankato, Blue Earth, Crow Wing, Mill Locks, Otter Trail, Waseca, and the Minnesota Historical Society, which is not a... Waseca?
Yep.
Waseca.
Mille Lacs County.
Mille Lacs County. Yeah. And Minnesota, I don't know why they put that in there, that's not a city. The Historical Society. Historical Society is not a city. So that's where they cover here. They cover a big portion of the Midwest. They also cover a big portion of the United States. I have clients that work with Tyler Munis. It is a robust system. It is a fabulous system. If you got it, they've done it. So why do we like this system? It will be in the cloud. Yes, our data will be secured and safe. We will be able to access it remotely. So when our building inspectors are out in the field, they'll be able to remotely access from their tablets with the information they need. We want to build it so that our police department, our fire department, anybody who's out has access to what they need as far as information, our public works. They go out to fill a pothole. They know exactly where it is because somebody reported it and it was marked, right? And we've got the coordinates in GIS. The upgrades are included. Those will be constant. It's called an evergreen process. So you never know when it's time to do an upgrade because it's done the upgrade for you. It's not like, okay, everybody has to be off the system tonight because we're going to be running upgrades between here and there, right? It'll be running for you. It'll be manageable and continuous enhancements. Yes, it is. It says deployed with minimal distribution. And clients always have access to the latest and greatest tools and functionalities. They have a Tyler Munis educational plan that you can get, or you can get training costs. They're coming in to do a very robust training for the city when we implement and deploy this. This is not a small project for them. This is one of their good-sized projects. And so working with the sales staff and the team, we've got to meet some of the team members. They will not treat you like a small city, which you're not. You're a good-sized city. I learned that you're the largest city in the southwestern corner of Minnesota when we were looking up how to travel to Wilmer yesterday from Omaha. Yeah. And so that's the treatment you're going to get. So you're not moving to a small system, you're moving to a robust system. Oh, and then why choose Tyler? For the last 3 reasons. The stability, they've been here for a long time, they have a lot of clients, right? They're not going to go away anytime soon. They're not going to be bought by somebody because they're bigger than everybody else. Yes, they have a great partnership with their clients, and then they're transformative technology. Another thing that they do that I have learned from working with other clients is that when one client has a problem and asks for help and they develop something for this client, everybody gets the benefit of it later, right? So they're not just putting it into one person's technology pocket, they're spreading it across everybody. So if somebody from a larger city has a problem, you sure are going to get the same ability to do the same activity as it gets deployed and rolled out. I think the last one is questions. Oh, yes, video. So I'm going to hop over out of this for a second. Video will expire in 30 sessions. So we're going to start with this one first.
Citizens today expect more engagement with their local
Hold on
government.
1 second. How do I get, we didn't think about this, volume through the speakers?
It was coming through.
It was.
Oh, it was?
Yeah, it
You
was.
can, just on your laptop there, the volume itself, so can you?
It's all the way up.
Okay.
Try the speaker on the deal there. Yeah, that one. There you go.
There, that might be too low.
Citizens today expect more engagement with their local government, from online bill pay to permit requests, incident reporting, and more. Much of today's civic engagement is centered around siloed mobile apps that offer insight into a single area. In a world where time and information are the most valuable commodities, expecting citizens to download multiple apps to connect with their community is no longer realistic. To meaningfully engage with our citizens, we need to deliver a comprehensive mobile experience. We need to put local government in the hands of the citizen. MyCivic is a customizable platform designed to bridge silos and extend your government in a single citizen-facing mobile app. This comprehensive civic app connects citizens to all the services, resources, and information your organization offers. Whether it's reporting an incident, city news, information about an elected official, or a community activity calendar, MyCivic houses it all in one app branded by your organization, specifically for your organization. You control the content you'd like to share, which can then be updated and pushed out in real time to your citizens. And your citizens control when and how they'd like to interact with their government. With MyCivic, community engagement has never been easier.
This is Michelle. She loves her city. As a citizen, Michelle helps take care of her community. Whenever she finds issues like potholes, graffiti, trash, crime, and light pole issues, she reports it right away on her city's mobile app. Her city app has the Report an Issue feature, which allows her to report issues from her phone. Her reports and her fellow citizens' reports are received by the respective departments instantly. John and the Public Works staff automatically get notified of the issues received by email or through the web content management system. From his desk, he manages all the issues, adding an estimated resolution date on each issue to help the department keep track of all issues. John can change the status of each issue, add notes, change issue type, and assign a staff member responsible to resolve it. Tony, our field staff, receives the issues on his mobile device. It helps him move through issues quicker and more efficiently. Through the mobile responsive content management system, Tony can easily manage each issue as they come in, wherever he is. At home, Michelle receives a notification that the issue she reported has been resolved. Through the city app, Michelle is kept updated on all the issues she's reported in the My Reports section. She can send additional notes, receive status changes, and receive direct messages from the city staff. Back in the office, John also receives an update that the issue has been resolved. He can effortlessly browse accurate data and analytics and download them into his computer for a department report. The CMS provides a wide range of issue reporting analytics that helps his office and his team make important decisions on the fly, like resource allocation, risk management plans, and budgeting. My Civic from Tyler Technologies, making your community brighter and smarter.
Then we go to questions. Okay. Now it's your turn.
Anybody have any questions for our developer?
I got a question. I'm assuming this is a user-friendly program, correct? Do all departments get trained
Yes.
individually?
Yes.
Okay, what about like Minnesota Public Utilities? Would they get trained as well? No. Okay, what about our Bolton Mink, even that are part of our engineering department, but they're not part of us? They get trained?
If they want to be, they actually wouldn't have the access to our system.
They would?
No.
No.
And that's why the utilities would not, because we're not running the same system. Even though the utilities is going, currently they are now updating to Tyler Technology
Right.
for their utility billing systems, but we're not using the same financial books or anything else like that, so we're not tied that way. So they'll be using, and I don't know, were they gonna use the work order system also? You recall in their presentation? Maybe they didn't present it to you.
I didn't see that.
But, yeah. If, you know, like the demonstration showed was the street light, but we also won't have a drop down for a street light, so they will have to type that in, and if that happens, of course, then we would just send that over to the utilities.
Go ahead, Vicki.
Well, I was wondering if the utilities did have that option for people to report things, could we be kind of intertwined so that if someone saw a utility that needed to be fixed? Because I feel like they would go on the city app. You know, I don't think they would think to go to the utilities app.
I don't know, but we
Could we
could,
put a link on their site?
I'm sure we'll find out.
And we could put a link on our site to
Yeah,
them.
right,
Right. That's, I mean, they're both Tyler systems.
right.
Good question.
We don't get a lot of utility requests into Webmaster. It's very rare currently. But it does happen.
Yeah,
Because they have their own website.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And basically, right now, all the citizen requests come into our Webmaster account, and currently me or Dave divvy out who they go to. And bad part about that is if we're busy, they sit there until one of us can get to it. So this would be nice to directly go to somebody and not have a third person in the middle.
You know, just a brief overview that we saw tonight, it really seems like this is a great program. And I know that night that you were here taking all the input from the council and we're really getting down in the weeds and you were saying, you guys are really getting in the weeds. It really seems like you listened to that and you said, okay, the council really wants something that's deep. And this really seems nice. So thank you for your hard work, Leslie. Thank you to you and your team for bringing a product that will be solution driven. So other council members or staff have questions? Otherwise, we're gonna have an hour. Go ahead.
I'll just ask the question. I know Mankato was on there, and I talked about Mankato's system. And maybe it is this one where if we're divided into different wards, and so if a complaint comes in Ward 4, and knowing what's happening with that complaint, so whether the citizens, so we can see these are the issues, these are staff that are working on it. Is that part of what this is?
Yes, and that was in the demo, that the citizen received her message back, she got updates on it, what was
No,
going
I'm
on.
talking about the council members.
So then
message back.
whoever's handling the data, what did we say his name was, John, back there?
John.
So John will be able to look at the data, and I'm assuming it's the same, that you'll be able to bifurcate the data into what sections of the city those complaints are coming in at, yes.
We haven't, this is, so however, we haven't gone through the workflow yet, of
Yeah,
course.
yeah.
So we would talk to Tyler and ask him how that is handled.
Yeah.
Because as far as the notification to the council, I don't know how Mankato's doing that right now and
I don't-
how that's decided what goes to the
Yeah.
council and what doesn't go to the council.
I don't know that it's a notification, it's just available that I can go in and look
Report.
at Ward
Yeah.
4
Yeah.
and know that, okay, they got the complaint and so-and-so staff was looking at it
Yes.
and these were the dates and those types of things. I'm not looking for an email or a notification.
No, I'm
But
pretty
if
sure
I-
that the
but,
reporting is
yeah.
so robust.
Just
Yeah.
that follow-up, so if somebody says, well, hey, what's happening with this? You could know that Public Works is gonna get to it, but they're, that kind of thing.
Right,
So-
and they shouldn't even ask that question,
Yeah.
because they should have that status at their
Right.
fingertips. They
Yeah.
know where it is in the process.
Yes.
So,
That's
and
a-
then-
The citizen or who?
The
the
citizen.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes.
because according to, or not according, but in the demo, she can set up notifications to receive the information back. So from the comfort of her home, she was getting the answers to the questions or answers to the issues she had put in.
So then if somebody complains about somebody's grasping too long, the homeowner doesn't know who the complainant was?
No, no,
Okay.
no. Those all come through the city.
Yeah, there is.
So I
yeah,
think-
there are some data privacy acts
Yeah.
that also go along with these
Yeah.
things. Because yes, you cannot have the name of the person who reported it on the work order visible to the public in the case of reporting regress.
I know we talked once before about just being able to take a photo and sending it in kind of thing.
They
too.
can do that too.
And that's what I'm assuming.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because that's helpful in fixing something, like a water leak, kind of like what the water leak looks like. You had a question, I'm sorry.
It sounds like the system is supposed to work, but in the real world, will it work that way?
Yes,
Because I know for the street lighting, utilities, you call them, and they'll take your name and address, but they send someone out at night to actually verify. So it could take a week or so until they get it fixed.
Yeah.
And potholes, I think Gary's gonna be very busy just taking questions on potholes.
We get them now,
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I know our street got filled last year. They got to our house, and they ran out of mix, and it was like 4 o'clock. And the worker told my wife, well, we're all out of premix, we'll be back. Well, they just came back a year later, just a couple weeks ago on our street. So-
I guess I'm not into that. I know the situation you're talking about.
Yeah, but that's what's gonna happen.
Well, in this situation, things will be able to be scheduled. So if they didn't finish the street, they can't put that we completed all the potholes. So that's gonna be an open work order. So now we're not talking about complaints at this point. Now we're talking about asset management, which is a whole nother system that we've not had over here in the city as far as when it's time to do mill and overlay, when it's time to go out and fill the potholes. Those will also be recorded in a system so that in asset management, we can say, is this the 9th time we filled this pothole? What's really going on here? We should be investigating and figure out what this is. How much are we spending to fill this pothole, right? Because we will be also able to keep track of the cost of that too. How much is the compound costing us? How much do we put in here? So we can get as far into the weeds in asking questions in a system like this than you couldn't of before, which was a very manual system. So I think what you're talking about now is process and people management. So if somebody finished and said they finished the street but they missed a pothole, then that's process management, not necessarily the system. Because the system isn't measuring how many potholes, right? Somebody checked the box and said they were done. So,
I also think there's a protection for staff with, somebody called in a complaint and it wasn't on a sticky note, it was documented, and so even, we've had some insurance claims on some things that I think for staff to be able to have that clear documentation trail versus you now have the resident versus the staff, and I think this is protection for the staff and for the city, the reverse way, that it is documented and there is the call was logged or this came in at this time. I think it works both ways, so.
yeah, and so when you say, will the system work as it's designed? The system will work as it's designed. Will the people also follow the processes as the system is designed? That's the question you're asking. And so, I can't tell you that, Leslie can't tell you that. Every individual person that comes to work here and gets this great system should be following the process.
Additional comments or questions for our consultant or the administrator or anybody on the team that was involved?
I think I've got a simple one, but a while back, Ross and Sean and I had looked at a system for pushing out emergency alerts, like the county currently does. Would this be capable of that? Like, it's a snow day, streets are closed, blah, 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 whatever. And the nice thing about,
Sure.
and I don't know if this would be capable, but that one was able to do it
Yeah,
by
I would
basis
think
of
it would in that
GPS.
app. I would think it would be.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I know it said
Yeah.
push notifications, but I just
Yeah.
wanted that specific example.
No, that's a great example. The Citizen app, and I don't have a client that actually uses the Citizen app yet. So my recommendation is that you implement all of it, even though it's going to take you 18 to 24 months. Because I have a client that didn't implement all of it, okay? A very large county in Nebraska. Many, many years later, they had me come in to try to finish the implementation. Do it now, get all those questions answered, adopt all of that stuff, because you have fabulous system that you're paying for. Buy it, use it, implement it all. Yeah, and then those things like that, the Citizen app, they weren't using the Citizen app even. It was like, they stopped, and they didn't finish.
And then once you have it all set up, it's
Yes.
important to market that to the
Yes.
citizens, because we had an app and nobody really used it.
Mhm.
I mean, it wasn't something like this, but you gotta get it out there so people know it's there.
Well, I think it was connected to the
And
website.
use it, yeah.
That was one of the reasons I think Leslie really liked it, is the robust website connection too. So.
Would you talk about the implementation setup or how the implementation will work?
So I don't have the schedule in front of us, I don't know if you do, did we get the final one? So first and foremost, it'll go financial.
Right.
So that's the first part of the implementation. And then it'll be a rolling process after that.
But do
And
you bring someone on site to
no,
help
see,
with implementation?
so as I gave Leslie a hug today,
She's done with this.
I'm done with you. My part of the project was to get you to here to pick the vendor. Now Tyler takes over, they bring in the implementation. But we had, they gave us an implementation schedule that shows this time frame that goes from 18 to 24 months. does. And it really depends on the city's timing and where we are, where we fall, where we can help them with what. But the very first and foremost, the first step will be financials. So we'll go through the financial side of everything first. And we're looking for the schedule. We should have brought that with.
I wasn't really worried so much about the schedule as if someone was coming to help
Yes.
implement the
Yes,
system.
so it's a hybrid method of implementation, both, and we've already actually gone through a discussion about how to move the data from the current system, New Avenue Insights, to Tyler. We've already gone through that conversation with the vendor. And then it's a hybrid method between remote and in-person. But training is in person. Some of it is remote for the implementation, but I do believe they have time scheduled that they will be on the ground when crossovers happen. When we leave Avenue Insights on a Wednesday and we can't get into the new system until Friday, I believe they're here on the ground at that time doing training while there's this quiet time, and then it moves over. So it is a combination. They also have assigned a project manager. That's why you don't need me after tonight. So they will have somebody who's managing this project assigned directly to the city.
What was our new payroll system?
Kronos.
Kronos. What do we, how is,
They talk to each other through an open API.
okay.
That was one of the requirements from all of the systems. Because we still have not gone live on that system yet. And so that was a very important part of it.
We can get you a copy of the implementation schedule.
Yeah. Well, we'll have that, you know, on the council, when we approve to move into this contract with the application and moving into the software. The $150,000, just our annual fee. Now we have the cost of implementation too. So, and the implementation is a little over $500,000, and about $200,000 of that is training alone.
Okay, so what's the timeline with Coronas and this for the finance department? And when do we remove all sharp objects from their work session area?
All I can think of is. So we would want to have Cronus up and running January 1st for sure, because we don't want to go another year of trying to wait until, but Kronos will be mapped to our accounting system and our accounting numbers. And we can keep our accounting numbers that we have. I verified that today with Alvin, our Tyler person, but we're going to clean up our chart of accounts. Our chart of accounts needs to be cleaned up drastically. But he said that we should be able to keep our numbers that we currently have, so that way the numbers that Kronos is, all that's being developed right now, those numbers, account numbers will stay the same, so we should be able to map those right into the Tyler financials.
Yeah, Julie, I think you bring up an important piece. This Kronos piece is a big deal.
Yeah.
And we've been paying for this for a long time, it's still not being used. And I, for the life of me, cannot figure it out. I mean, my wife worked on a system. I asked her, a larger system had many more employees than we have. And the implementation time was a matter of months. And I can't understand why we have the resistance and, we continue to pay more and more money for this, a system that's not being used simply because we have staff that don't want to do it. And, we have to get off that. The council has given the direction. I can't understand, the council is the top level of the decision making. The council has said this is what we're going to do. I don't understand the pushback. I can't understand it. Every time I talk about it, I get upset because I can't believe that it's been this long and it's still not done.
Yes. But this is an opportunity, I think, from what I knew anyway, is that these two systems will talk to each other better than what we have.
Yes.
Yes.
And
Yes,
so
because-
this is
yes.
it, I guess the concern that I would have is, yes, we can make them work together, and that's what we're gonna do.
Yes,
And
that's
just
what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think we were ready, Leslie and I had meetings with the team at Bergen
Yes.
KDB. The team at Bergen KDB has been ready to deploy for a while. And the issue is that we needed back history. You can only issue, the rules have changed, you can only have one W-2 during the year. So if you change accounting or payroll systems, you have to pull all of the last information from the last previous months into the new system so that they can generate one W-2 at the end of the year for the employees. So it's getting the back history of the employees, and so we found a way to do that by using the quarterly reports. And so I know that the KPay team is ready to deploy.
If we didn't have Kronos, what would be inside the system for payroll?
We would use Tyler's HR payroll system. You know, and it's the same thing. It's because the AS400 or Avenue Insights, whatever you want to call it, or Paymate is the payroll side of it, whatever you want to call it, it is IBM specific data
Yeah, no.
tables.
That's our side. Where I was thinking is, would we be better off to take the payroll system inside this, that we were uniform
we're
versus
still-
staying with?
That's what I was getting to.
Yeah.
We still have the same problem. Pulling the data out of Paymate, which is the IBM system, because IBM wrote their own tables. So we can't extract the
No.
data that we need to just
Yeah.
move forward.
To any
That-
system,
I'm-
to any system.
I'm understanding
Yeah.
that there's a problem with that,
Mhm.
but long-term, would we be better off to just start
Oh.
over with the system inside the system is what I'm asking.
It's 6 and 1/2 of the others. Kronos is a huge payroll company, so they're constantly refreshing
Doing
and
the
creating
same.
and doing the same thing.
And we've done all this work now
Yeah.
and built Kronos, so
Yeah, we might as well.
all those workflows and job cost centers and all that is already built into Kronos. And what we spent on doing that, we wouldn't want to do another 6 months of trying to build that now into Tyler.
I'm just not wanting the city 5 years to say from now, if there's issues with Kronos or something changes, to say, well, we should have bit the bullet and just done it all and been united in that. So that's my question, that's all.
It's a fair question.
Yep.
Additional comments or questions, anybody has? Okay, I guess we'll take a recess until 7 o'clock.
There we go.
Thank you for your work.
So, no problem.